Hello, everyone. Welcome to Pixel Purrfect, and welcome to, in particular, the Furnal feedback panel of Pixel Purrfect. I am Scani, the fundraising lead for Pixel Purrfect, as well as chair of AEO's board of directors. And I just want to take this opportunity to thank you all for supporting Pixel Purrfect this weekend, because y'all are great. And even though we can't gather in person, this is the next best thing. Celebrating opportunities for the future. We're also celebrating the past as well, and all those good vaporwave vibes. I am here with the awesome Iglipu, the convention chair of Virtual FE, as well as Verkilian, who's part of FE's director team and part of AEO's board of directors. And we're here to answer your questions over the course of the next little bit about our event, things we can do better, anything like that. So we've been getting your questions throughout the last little bit over Slido, and if you do want to submit your questions, it's not too late to do so. We're happy to take time for that. But we are more than happy to answer any questions that you might have, so get those questions in if you haven't already. We'll be more than happy to answer. So, with that in mind, I think we can go straight into questions, unless there's any other housekeeping pieces to note.
No, I'm good. I think Drac will be handling our questions for us.
That is correct. Today, we should start off very first question, posted by Gravik. Is it possible to do a virtual con alongside a normal con when the pandemic is over?
This is a very good question, and of course we knew it was going to come up. So Virtual FE is our first ever virtual convention, so this was a big test. Essentially, I was like, Scani, Drac, the boards of director, let me do this crazy thing, and we'll see how it goes. So judging by the reaction we've had, it's definitely a discussion we need to have. I can't promise anything, but we're definitely going to talk about that. Is there anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, we definitely took some risks this weekend. We really had no idea how this was all going to work, but hey, it worked pretty well, and it clearly shows that there's a demand for these sort of experiences. So we'll definitely be taking all this feedback and all the positive vibes in mind when looking at plans for the future.
Next question.
Next question is, how are all the technical aspects of the con put together? Things like remixing, world hosting, so on.
Alright, so right now what we have is a decentralized way of hosting the world. So we've made the instances private, and we made our hub world, the hotel, the only one, public. Throughout the weekend we did make one of the dealer's den public and one of the dance floor public, so it was easier for people to join. But essentially how we are hosting the worlds is that whenever you walk through a portal, you create a new Friends Plus instance. So all your friends can join you, and you can invite them, and their friends can invite their friends. This is how we found best to do it. We've actually decided to invest in a web streaming company that we're working with called Waveform. They're the ones handling our stream, and Retcon is working with them behind the camera. So so we've decided to do something a bit different than other convention with that, and all the streams, all of our Discord wranglers essentially are Waveform people working to get all the panelists ready and test their stuff just before they go live. I'm so glad we did that, because we don't really have that much experience with doing that with the physical event. So, yeah.
Great answer, Igly. Thank you.
Next question submitted by FBar. How do I convince my parents that going to an online convention is okay?
Well, I mean, we are PG everywhere. We are PG-13. What more do you need? We do have normally panels about going to furry cons. We're more than happy to educate people or provide information for like parents or guardians who want to know what the furry fandom is all about. So maybe that's something we need to look at for future uncertain virtual event to better educate or put some resources out there actually for parents or guardians about what is in place and how are the minors being kept safe. So that's a good point. That's something we should look into.
I think it's worth noting as well that an online experience is definitely very different from an in-person convention where the parent or guardian can come along for the ride. Whereas online, it's a little bit more, it's a little different. But one thing I can say is that the online experience is very safe. We've got a moderating team that's been working really hard to help make sure that this is a safe event, and those who might not necessarily have best interests of all our attendees at heart, to make sure that we don't have those people here. So I think that's an important piece to keep in mind, just how well moderated we make the space, and we're always looking to improve too. So we've been at this for, online conventions may be new to us, but we're obviously very familiar with cultivating safe and friendly public environments. So good to keep in mind as well.
All right. Next one we have comment by Anonymous. I just wanted to say that all of you did an amazing job with this event, and the VR chat worlds are awesome and incredible.
Yes! That's why we do it. Thank you, random person.
Yes, thank you. We love it. Next one.
Next question comes from Charlie. I love how to do the choice to make convention free and easily accessible for many who usually can't go to cons was made. Can this be done more in the future?
So that's interesting in the sense that we have to consider that the costs associated with a physical event and a virtual event aren't exactly the same. The virtual event is not actually free to hold, so that's why we had to have some way of getting some money back without having everyone pay for it. So we've been talking about it. I don't know how the model can be applied, or if at all it can be applied to a physical event. And I think that's something we really need to look into, the pay what you want model that's been very popular this weekend.
Yeah, just to echo what Iglesias is saying, obviously it takes a different amount of money to put a virtual event on as opposed to a physical one. We were definitely able to make this work. One thing I will say around accessibility, that's obviously something that we treasure in any of our events, making sure that, that they're available to the greatest number of people. So that's definitely feedback that we're going to keep in mind as we move forward.
We're learning. This is a lot of learning, this whole event.
100%. We are definitely learning.
Oh, yeah. This question is for Igly.
Oh.
Have you got any tips for a starting dealer?
I guess I do. I would say talk to people. I know it's virtual, it's a bit different, but talk to people. It's the best way to create relationships with clients. Just get them to know what you're making, why you're making it, and what's motivating you, because at the end of the day, they buy your stuff, but they also buy into you. You're part of the product as the artist or the maker. So cultivate that and work on your branding. Branding's important. And yeah, start with that. Also, get out there. Put your name out there, advertise. All the cons, go to all the cons. Yep.
Maybe since we're on the topic of dealers, let's hop into the next question. Is it possible to have a time when the vendors would be in VR chat and go in and talk with them?
So a lot of our dealers have been posting on the Discord when they're going into VR chat. There is a public instance of the dealers den where a lot of dealers are currently in. If you're listening to this or can hear this, go post right now the instance you're in or an invite for it into the Discord, because there's a lot of them in the world right now. Not everyone is available all weekend, obviously, and we're all on different time zones. But they've been posting, so it's there on the Discord.
All right, so I just gave you, Igly, 2 questions in a row. Now I think there's one for Scanny. Scanny, how could BIPOC furries be better supported?
That's a really good question. Obviously, over the past several months, that's really been a priority for FE and for AEO as an organization. Some of that work we hope is in display at this event. For those who have coming into the Discord, you would have seen some of the rules talking about, avoiding racism sexist activity, not engaging in culturally appropriate costuming, and avoiding police and military cosplay and costuming. Those are all kind of key pieces that we've received a lot of feedback on in the lead up, and that's something that we do plan to carry over to the main event. Obviously, we've still got a lot of work to do in terms of uplifting BIPOC creators and content, and we're still very much intending to work forward on that. Obviously, that isn't just up to us. That really is a BIPOC-led conversation. We want to be receptive to feedback, so if you're out there, please know that we want to hear from you. We will do our best to proactively reach out to you to make sure that we can provide the best possible experience that we can for you at these events, because they are ultimately for you as well.
What's up?
I definitely want to thank Kaveric for the contributions that they have made in helping Furnal Equinox, progress, and they've taken a lot of their own personal time and effort, and it really shows that it's the community that builds these events.
Yeah, seconded. Thank you, Kaveric. We really appreciate that feedback.
Right. Next question. What has been the greatest challenge on your journey of making Virtual Con feel so much like the real thing?
This is a good one. This is a really good one.
This is a really good one. So there's been a couple of hurdles, obviously. Time frame, you'd be surprised at how long it takes to create all these different worlds. And of course, you need very specialized staff for that. So we love our volunteers at FE. We always have a lot of volunteers at the in-person event. And it's easy to say, hey, Scani, take these chairs and go place them in that room over there, right? You can do that. But if I turn around to Scani and I'm like, Scani, can you build me a world in Unity and then import that into VR chat? Also, we need toggleable seats.
I was like, I'd be like useless.
It's not the same skill set. So this probably has been the greatest challenge of this event, was to rebuild a team from the ground up that could handle the specifics that we needed technology-wise for the event. We have amazing staff. I want to point at Lilith, who did amazing work, currently dressed as Badgie. I think she's a really good example of how some of the staff have just progressed in how much they knew when they joined versus how much they know now. She's like an expert on VR chat now, and an Udon language and C# and everything we did in 3D and imported that into Unity, and we've worked with collabs. So I think the technological aspect is definitely been a hurdle, and in the same respect, we've had to do everything we could to educate the attendees on how to participate. Because it's hard to say, like, join this event, but then you don't know how to join. So, like, our moderators answering people so quickly, making these little videos and these, new player nights were very important to get people into VR chat so we can equip them as to how to actually enjoy and join the con. Because it's easy to say, oh, we made this amazing game, but nobody can join in. Oh, Scanny's flying around.
It's okay. I got a little bit VR erratic.
So yeah, I would say those were probably the biggest hurdles, is like all the stuff surrounding the tech. Definitely a different challenge than the physical event.
Yeah, I want to throw a shout out to Mojito for working on, the beautiful architecture of the Con Hotel. Without you, a lot of the VR stuff would not have been possible.
Definitely.
Next question I've got up for you is, in the future, what kinds of accessibility features would be part of the design of the con?
And is that in virtual or in physical? Because I mean, in virtual, I know that there are keyboards that are a way for silent people to join in, where they can type on a keyboard and it shows on the screen inside of VR chat. So there was an update of VR chat not that long before the con, so obviously a lot of our scripts broke for certain things and we had to fix them. If we had had more time, that's something we would have add accessibility to the VR chat world. I think in person, there's probably other stuff. There's a lot of stuff we're already doing in person. I know I've been pestering everyone, being like, hey, it's gonna have more French support because I'm French Canadian, but there's other stuff out there.
Yeah, we've done a lot of work. We've done a lot of work at the physical event over the last little bit to encourage accessibility, having specialized rooms for people who feel they might need some quiet space or support during the convention. That's one example. We actually, and I also want to give a shout out to our accessibility team led by Tika, that provides us with this sort of feedback and allows us to move forward and provide the broadest possible experience to everybody who comes to our events. So just a shout out to Tika and her team.
More questions?
Oh yeah, there's more questions.
Oh,
I
go.
want to thank everyone for putting
Oh,
in
my.
questions so far. I think there's been at least another 2 or 3 submitted, and
Oh gosh.
keep
Awesome.
on putting those questions in. So the next question I've got for you is, do you think this virtual con has made a financial difference in the continuation of this con past pandemic?
I think that's a scanny question.
That is a Scani question. So just to put it in perspective, over this past year, since we have to cancel FE 2020, we've obviously that cost us a fair bit of money to have to do that. And not to mention, we have costs that we still need to incur regardless, even when we're not running an event. We've still got to pay for a storage locker to store all that beautiful swag. We've got to keep our website running. We've got to, still keep our bank accounts running, all that sort of stuff. So there are certain costs that we do need to keep on, and your support definitely helps with that. So thanks to all of the support that you provided here at Pixel Purrfect and with our fundraisers throughout the year. We feel comfortable and we feel ready to put on a great in-person event at FE 2022. So I just want to say to everybody who supported, thank you so much. It
Thanks.
really makes a difference.
It's very nice to see the community coming out and supporting not only us but the charity as well, and it's beautiful. Definitely beautiful.
$15,000, y'all are amazing, I tell you. Amazing.
There's another anonymous supportive message. Thank you so much for arranging this. Because it's online, I've been able to attend. It's been my first con. I've had a blast.
Yay! That's great.
Thank you so much.
Another question. How do you come out with bringing FE to VR chat, and how long did you guys plan for it?
Alright, so this has been in the works since July. I think July is when I started pestering Aiden about it. And then it really picked up in October. We started getting serious, and then December was when crunch time started for real. I know Waveform kind of joined the team around, there were talks around October and stuff. There was a lot, this took a lot of research to get to where we're at. I would say that's the secret behind it. A lot of research. I went to all the online cons. I went to check them all out. And it was just trying to make the best recipe with all these other elements that people loved about the cons in person and in VR, because there's certain things you can't recreate quite the same in VR, but we are really close to that. There was other suggestions that were looked into. I talked with the Neos VR team. I know a lot of people know and use that platform. I've talked to them. We had a good conversation back in, I believe, December or January. Their platform simply wasn't ready for us at this time. If the con had been happening in summer, that could have been a different story, but at the time they didn't have the desktop version, so this was causing issue with accessibility. So this is why we chose VR chat, was because it's relatively safe. it's your information is safe on VR chat servers, and it's easily accessible. It's free, same as Neos though. It's free, and a lot of people already use it. And it has a desktop mode, and it has the quests, and it has everything compatible. So this was the logical choice for the time frame we had of putting the event on in March. But other options were considered, of course. Does that answer the question?
I think it does.
Okay.
Got a question for Scanny from Luti about the coupons that I got for 2020. It says that it expires in April. As this year was virtual and free, can it be used for next year?
Great question. So we are still committed that if you registered for the in-person FE 2020 and your registration was still in our system, we are honoring your registration. So the plan is anybody who registered for FE 2020, your registration will be honored in 2022. If you've gotten course, obviously we do need to do a little bit of work on the back end to make sure that the reg records carry on that far, but our intention is to honor any existing registrations already in the system.
Now, here's a question for Iggly. What was the most rewarding in all of this experience?
Oh my god. Walking around the world and seeing them filled. Seeing just all these people in all these worlds, like, we've worked on this and tested them alone just with a couple of friends, and it's just like always just stress testing the worlds and not actually going in and enjoying it. And like, we walk into the worlds every day now, it's filled with furries. You walk around the hotel lobby, it's like walking into the hotel during convention time. That is by far the most rewarding bit. And all the people who are like, oh, this is the best event I've been to and all that, that makes my day. Like, this is the high I'm going to be riding for the next few months.
Got a comment from Pico Gun that says, I've made so many friends during this con. It's my first con and it's so fun.
Oh, that's great.
Thank you, Pico. I hope it's not your last.
Yeah, we have an anonymous comment that also says, I told my friends who normally can't come to the con that this is their chance to attend. I hope some get addicted and come anyway.
Aha!
Yes,
More
absolutely.
people.
And another positive comment from Hannah saying, really enjoyed the con. Y'all did a wonderful job putting this together. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming and enjoying
Thank you so much,
yourself.
Hannah.
This is great.
An anonymous question says, thank you so much for the virtual event. It's the only way I would have been able to experience con. Will the donation link remain up after the event?
I think it should remain up for a week after the event, just because I've heard of some people doing some charity drive commissions who want a little bit of extra time to put in their donations, if that's okay with you, Scanny. I was actually going to ask you in a private chat, but we're here and the question came up.
And it's like in front of all these people watching, right?
Yes.
Correct answer is yes, absolutely. We do recognize we've got some. Probably gonna have some late donations coming in, and thank you all who have supported by saying, hey, I'm gonna split some of my commissions with Effie and Hopsty. Thank you so much. Please feel free to donate after the event.
Thank you. Sorry.
Question from Saf is, how did you decide on the charity?
Do you want to take that one?
So we've actually had a relationship with Hobbitsty since the before times in 2019. When we select charities for FE, we always try to pick organizations that are of interest to us. As it stands, we do a lot of work in the realms of wildlife, animal supports for abandoned pets, and so forth. As with our previous convention charities, we are looking at broadening that in the future, but that's a separate piece. So we came across Hobbitsty in the summer of last year, and they're a small organization based out of Jarvis, Ontario. We really like small organizations because it allows us to provide proportionately more of an impact. We talk to them, they talk to us. We kind of get an understanding of, hey, is this a good fit for each other? And we just went from there. Obviously, since the cancellation of the 2020 event, we weren't able to give them a proper in-person experience, and we still plan to do so. But we've maintained that relationship with them since.
Then it made sense to have them transfer into the virtual event. Give them a chance to actually experience the generosity of the fandom.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alright, next question is, what is the status of FE through this pandemic?
Sounds like a me question.
Sorry.
When Igley looks to me, it's like, yeah. We've been doing all right. Obviously, it's been a chat. It's definitely been challenging. It's definitely been challenging for us. What has been really supportive to us through all this is the trust of our attendees throughout all of this. So for all of you that donated your registrations after the 2020 convention, or those who have rolled forward their registrations, we've been able to keep things going because of your support and your trust in us, and I just want to say thank you for that. All other things being equal, we're in good shape. We're financially healthy, and assuming no further things, we feel prepared to put on a 2022 event. So we're looking forward to it.
Awesome. Got another anonymous question that's asking, will the Discord still be open for talking after the event?
So this hasn't been this looking straight at me there. He's like, don't come at me. So the Discord will be, it's not been decided yet. So I need to ask the moderators and the staff. I also need permission from Effie and the boards to be sure if this is to remain as an official chat, it has to be moderated. So if you want to help with that, you can apply for a moderating position in the Discord by contacting one of our mods. There is like a couple of questions you need to answer just so that we know that you're a bit experienced, because there's like almost 3,000 people in the Discord. We peaked at 3,000 earlier, so that's a lot of attendees and people to manage. So we're definitely looking into that, but I can't promise you anything at this point. I need to ask permissions.
Awesome. All right. We have a question from Google. Well, actually, no, not a question. Another positive comment. It says, out of all the online kinds I've been to, I found this one the best out of all of them. Also, hello from the UK.
Oh, hello from across the pond.
Thanks, Mughal. We hope it inspires other organizations to provide great experiences too.
So, does this online convention collaborate with the Western Harbour Castle Hotel and the Anthropomorphic Events of Ontario organization?
So for the hotel bit, I can tell you that we were allowed to go in and take references pictures of any texture we needed, but they weren't part of the event. So this is why you're not seeing their name anywhere. They're not backing the hotel. They're just allowing us to take photos and use their likeness, if you will. But they're not involved in this. For AEO, I'll let Scanny handle that.
So this absolutely has happened with the AEO board's blessing. Obviously, they would have had to come to us and ask us, okay, okay, this is what we want to do. This is our plan in terms of programming, and most importantly, this is the financial commitment that we're asking for to put this event on. So the board has absolutely been supportive. A lot of our board members are actually actively involved with the event in different contexts. For example, Ace Shep has been heading up to DJs and was moderated the dance competition last night. Draylen's been doing some moderating, I believe. Skylier put on a panel. So we've had some good involvement and engagement for everybody involved. So yeah, we're more than happy to support initiatives like this that bring our community together.
All right. Next question. Igley. The crowd wants see the banner. Show us the banner.
Yes. Great message
banner.
too. That's a great message.
Do you want to read it out loud?
Yeah. I'll let Drac read it because he's closer.
It does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop.
Love it.
Beautiful.
Absolutely love it.
Thank you for this awesome message. I was sure it was going to be a meme or something that said rabbit season, but we're good.
The next question we've got on the list is from Saf. How did you decide which parts of the Lacan location remained faithful to real life and which to totally overhaul?
So I have crazy ideas all the time. I'm one of these crazy people. I work in design, branding, video editing, and all sorts, so I'm very creative. I originally didn't even think we needed the hotel. But then I went to other conventions and I did my research and I saw that it means a lot, especially since FE's been going for such a long time. The hotel is part of the identity of the con. So it was important to have the hotel, and I used the floor plan to help Mojito be able to model it exactly after the hotel. So that was quite something. The pool is the same floor plan as the pool at the hotel. Obviously, we've changed the outside paysage a little bit, and we've changed the furniture. But this is essentially the layout, and we wanted to give it a little vibe because the hotel is a bit old. It's not modern, and I like modern things. So we revamped some of the hotel looks. So some of you might have noticed that it's much brighter in the hotel than it is in real life, for example. 3D is great for that. And then I thought, we don't have to do the convention center. We don't have to do the same dance floor that people go to. Why not bring them somewhere else? You're in VR. We could go to the moon if we want. Like, next con should be on the moon. Why not?
To the moon!
Exactly.
The moon!
Exactly. So the lounge, it's an island in the middle of the ocean. The main stage, it's on a Skype Razor in Toronto where you see the CN Tower from. Is it a real building? No, but it's really cool. There's also the dealer's end. It was inspired, all of our stuff was, my designs were really inspired by Neo Tokyo, Cyberpunk, Vaporwave, Synthwave. So it's really, this is how I would love to be able to bring the team alive at the physical event as well, but this is much cheaper to do in VR.
I think the interesting bit for me has been kind of like the range of emotions that people feel when walking into the hotel for the first time, especially those that have been to our in-person event before. It's really evoked a lot of really strong emotions, and it just kind of goes to show how important it is to have familiar places and familiar spaces in VR space.
Definitely. It was a good way to ground our attendees, our usual attendees, our staff. It was a good way to ground them and really say, this is FE, you're there, you're in the hotel, you're walking around, everyone's wearing a fursuit. That's the only difference with the real hotel. There's no staff and everyone's wearing a fursuit. It's just...
Except some of us are very small, and
yes.
Some of us are very large. I rest my case. Yes. I rest my case.
So,
Drac is a big.
Yeah, ever so slightly. Very tall. So, yeah. I think that answers the question.
Yeah, there's a similar question along the same vein. Will the VR world stay up in some form?
Please,
they
please,
will.
Please.
You want to go? Go.
No, I was saying please.
Of course they will. Of course they will. We're going to leave the hotel as a hub, and we're going to make all the worlds public so everyone can access them. Everyone can also make instances of them. We will take down some of the signs that announced this particular weekend, so we will replace them with a link to Furnal Equinox website. I will be asking the dealers if they want to leave their shop up. If they don't want to, we will take them down. And any of the adverts I would leave up unless an advertiser would like to take them down. So, no, I definitely, this isn't going away. We didn't make it to hide it. You can have it. It's your worlds afterwards. You'll be able to put whatever stream you want into the main stage video and the dance floor. Use them.
You could watch Nyan Cat. Well, I mean, you could. I'm not saying you necessarily should.
But you should. You could watch other cons from our con world.
Ooh. I think somebody submitted another positive comment. My favorite panel was Duology 101. I hope everyone has a good year. Smiley face.
It's a good year. It's going to be a good year. A year of change.
Next question is pretty general, but How are you all today?
I haven't slept that much, so I might not be up that late tonight, but I'm doing good. How about you, Scanny?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm really proud of what's happened here this weekend. I'm just so infinitely grateful for all the support. There was that initial feeling on Friday of, oh my gosh, what are we even doing? For those who have been with us ever since our first con in 2010, I've felt that way before, but no, this has been well beyond my wildest expectations, and I'm just so happy that it's worked out as well as it has.
How are you, Drac? I didn't ask you. How are you?
Good. The weekend?
Calm weekend?
Calm weekend? Sunny outside? Like
It is gorgeous. It is like so gorgeous out.
Yeah, not here. Well, the sun is there.
That
There's a
vaporwave
3D
sun.
world outside my real window.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
there's reality out there. Huh.
Reality. Yeah. All right. We've got another question from Thaf. Tell us about the guest of honor.
I think you might be better versed than me.
Yeah, so our guest so Dr. Wildlife. Dr. Wildlife is a zoologist who originally from the U.S. but actually has recently come up our way to Canada. Does tons of work in the way of wildlife conservation, educating people about best ways of environmental protection and taking care of our animals. So they've been fantastic to have. And then Anyar is a local artist from right here in the GTA. Anyar's been vending at our convention for many years. Actually works in the animation industry on a number of TV shows that you might be familiar with, and has been sharing her art talent with us for some time. So it's a pleasure to have them, and we're looking forward to having them in person next year too.
Awesome. Is a woo legal or not? Thought we already
This should be
settled
settled. Listen, whoever keeps on trying to make a court case out of this is settled law. This has been settled by the Supreme Court.
this. Throw a boozy
A woo is
badge at
illegal.
them
A
and
woo
let
is
them-
legal.
Another question. Ooh,
Officially.
Blue Patch. Thank you for running a great con. Made a lot of new friends and great memories. Also, Iggly for president.
Yes.
Thank you, Blue Badge. Iggly for president. Oh god.
Got a question from Anonymous stating, I'm trying to build my own worlds for VR chat. You know what resources, guides that were used?
Lots and lots of YouTube. The fun thing about VR chat is that they're constantly updating the game, so their documentation can't keep up with their updates sometimes. So what we've had to do is essentially research Google and test things out. So we made a couple of test worlds where we could really just, like the nunchucks in the dance floor were taken into the test world just so that we could get them to work. There were some interesting bugs, but that's the best way of doing it. Just test, and test. And yeah, lots of Google. Your Google poo should be very strong because you're gonna need it.
Another question from Pico Gun. It's pouring rain where I am, but what might you all be doing after the con today?
I will be sleeping for like the entirety of Monday. The internet will be off.
Iggly is going to sleep 5 ever. Not just 4 ever, but 5 ever.
What about you, Scanny? Are you gonna go dancing after the con?
I may just go dancing, yes.
What about you, Drac?
I'm gonna go bake or cook something.
Hmm.
Will it involve donair?
Pizza donair.
This is an official sponsored. We are not affiliated with any donair companies. Please don't.
Are
sue
you
us.
sure?
Hmm.
Ooh, we have another good question from staff. You mentioned interesting bugs. Can you elaborate?
right.
Spill the tea.
Oh, yeah, do you want to talk about the video player, Redcon? Oh, okay. Okay, I'll start with the nunchuck story. The nunchuck story is that it was made from the books, so the books are very broken. It's not really broken, it's more like a feature. So, so if you've been in the dealer's den or in the lounge, you can pick up the books. They have 2 colliders on them, and when I saw how they were kind of slowly following each other through the air, I thought, hey, we could make nunchucks out of this. So they were turned into nunchucks, but they had colliders on them. So whenever a small character, such as myself, was trying to test them, picking them up, the collider would hit the ground and my feet, and then I would fly up into the air. And I could fly all the way to the top of the dance floor roof, which is really high, and I'm afraid of heights, so that was not pleasant, because I had to close my eyes and wait till I fall back. So that was an interesting bug. We've had, with the video player, the video player has been horrendous. We've had, when it works for one person, it's somehow upside down for the other. In our test world and in the live worlds. We've tried different types of player. The one that came with VR chat prefabs. Then we switched to one that was using Udon Sharp. And then we went back. Are we back on the prefab one? No, we're still on the pro one. It's a very heavily modified Udon Sharp player. So Redcon and Lilith did a lot of testing on that and had to get it working. And we've been working on this. They've been working on this, I should say. You guys have been working on it all of last night, the night before. Oh my! He was writing segments of C# in between breaks, between the different host segments. So this is how, we're still updating the world as you're experiencing them. When we see bugs, when we see anything that's world crashing, we fix it. Because we want you guys to enjoy it. What other interesting bug did we have? Placing these world portals in the world is terrible. They're empty boxes in Unity, and you can't see which way they're facing, so you kind of place the box, and you're like, now I have to test it to see if it's the right way around. And then you come into the world, and the portal is just a thin line, because it's not turned the right way. So that was fun. That was a lot of fun. And of course, the ball pit. There's a secret button in the pool area to spawn balls. And
Find this now.
Yeah, and it's very well hidden. Come on, Cloud, go hit the button. He's stuck in the pool.
Cloud has just been quietly drowning in the pool all this time.
So yeah, it's changed. I hid it better.
Oh no.
He doesn't know where it is.
Wah, wah.
Wap wap. So we have a button in the pool area that spawns infinite amount of balls. They have a timer on them, so you shouldn't crash. And they just spawn like a fountain. If you turn the camera towards the pool, I'll show Cloud where the button is.
Well, this Q&A is going to end in basically
Cloud.
a ball pit, so hope you all enjoy.
I can't get that low.
Can't get that low.
Demo syndrome. Oh,
There we go.
Oh.
So that's the fun of the,
The
ball
balls
pit
are
right
everywhere.
there. And you can get an extra hour in the ball pit if you donate an extra $20.
And let me just say, this ball pit is a heck of a lot better than DashCon's.
Of course it is.
It's at least 3 times as big.
At least. I mean, you can still fill the hot tub. Did we have any other questions? I'm not keeping track of the time. I think we have time for one more.
minutes left.
Okay.
There's a comment from Lodi that says, "This was my very first furry convention. Even though it wasn't in person, I loved every single moment of it. Thank you so much for this great con experience."
Oh, that's so great to hear that.
Thank you.
I hope it won't be your last. We want to see you at Real Effie now, because this is how cool Real Effie is.
Yes, absolutely. We're certainly hoping that if you've come to our virtual event and this is your first encounter with FE, give some thought to joining us in person. We would love to have you.
I think that's it for questions right now.
I think that's it.
Awesome.
I think.
Jeez. Right on time. So any last words? Just look at the ball tip. So thank you everyone for attending. Thank you so much for being here. You make this event what it is.
And thank you for supporting us to the tune of $15,000+. We're really looking forward to announcing a final-ish total of closing ceremonies. You're gonna make me cry. You're gonna make me cry.
Yes. Yes.
I hear that, Rachel.
I hear that. Rachel's proud now.
Go back to your ball pit.
Go back to the ball pit.
All right, time for us to hit the hot tub and turn it over to all these other amazing panels and programming we have for the rest of Sunday.
Yeah. Don't miss the masquerade. And see you guys.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back. BT here with Ace.
Hello.
I hope you enjoyed that, Furnal feedback panel, and hopefully your questions got answered about the con and how it works. I had fun watching it and actually learned a lot.
And thank you everyone who sent in questions in our Q&A. It really helps us give back and improve on the convention, whether both virtual or in real life. But I think that was absolutely fantastic. Thank you, Iggly, and thank you, Scanny and Draculian for hosting that. Thanks.
So what do we have coming up next? I believe we have Furry Psychology with First Science, hosted by Dr. Nuka. So what is First Science? Do you know what First Science is? Do you know about
Yeah,
them?
they've been with us for quite a while now. Every year they come by, but they're a group of scientists, like actual scientists, whose job is to study the furry fandom.
Yeah, they're great because they have they study the fandom, the furries in it, and they do a lot of work to increase the understanding and decrease the stigma that is in our fandom, And I
Yeah,
think
they've
their
made
initiatives
a
are great.
wonderful contribution to helping just the general public understand us.
Yeah, no, they did an amazing job with that, and the panels are always informative, and that's the key thing I like about it is they always have new information, new studies coming out, and everything's public on their website. So if you want to know what they're doing and the initiatives they're doing, you can always look it up on their website and learn. It's cool.
Yeah, wonderful resources for both people who are new to the fandom, as well as veterans, and especially parents. There's a whole section about being a parent of a furry and not understanding what it is. So I find that just absolutely phenomenal that these guys do that for us.
And furry is a family event. It's the younger generation that are going to be taking over the fandom and hosting the events and hosting panels and making the furry fandom survive in the future. So it's great. It's great that they have that reach out program and they're showing it that the fandom is for everyone and we're cool. We're a cool fandom. All right. Well.
Welcome everyone to Furnal Equinox. Bienvenue tout le monde à Furnal Equinox. I am Igglypoo, the convention chair for this event.
And I am Cloud. I am producing the stream for this event.
And we hope that you're having as good a time as we are.
And we just want to thank you all for blowing past all of our donation goals. And let's continue. Let's break that meter.
It's also free. Bring all
It's
your
free.
friends.
Bring
Let's
all your
beat
friends.
all the records.
Everybody out there, tell your friends. Tell your friends.
to come. Tell your friends to come.
friends. Tell them to tell their friends.
Badgie, tell your friends. Better tell your friends. Badgie, come and tell them to tell their friends.
Badgie, tell them to tell their friends.
We want to thank you all for your donations.
Ooh.
Woo!